What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and we're gonna talk. Oh, it's a good day to be an Eagle fan. We gotta talk about the trade that Odell Beckham Jr. has just gone to the Cleveland Browns for a first, third, and Jabril Peppers. Now you might actually be a little bit surprised. I think in terms of like total value, it's not that bad of a move. To be completely honest with you, it makes some sense. I'm gonna try to make it as a neutral as much as I can, but I still am incredibly happy that the Giants seemingly are trying to self-destruct. We got rid of like a superstar wide receiver. As much as a lot of us kind of hate him, he has had some good games against the Philadelphia Eagles, so now we don't have to worry about that 2 times a year. And more so, I'm looking at it as like now we don't have to worry about, maybe if they could strike gold on a quarterback, be it if they get Dwayne Haskins or they get a quarterback next year, that he will have, an Odell Beckham to throw to. That's out of the division. So that is absolutely awesome. When you look at what they got in return for the Giants, first, third, and a Jabril Peppers. So the first and third, that's not terrible. Like the last big superstar wide receiver, I think Moonlight Swami put this on Twitter, was when Brandon Marshall was really good and get traded for, I think it was 2 seconds or 2/3 or something like that. And like that was the kind of only parameters you could use for a superstar wide receiver. I mean, depending on superstar, I use that term lightly when describing Brandon Marshall. Even Brandon Marshall in his prime, I feel like he was like a fringe top 10 wide receiver, like around that like Alshon Jeffrey territory. So first, third, and Jabril Peppers. I mean, Jabril Peppers kind of mitigates the loss of Landon Collins just a little bit. Somewhat similar style players, I guess. But, I mean, you look at Jabril Peppers, he's had one all-right year versus a guy like Landon Collins that at least his one all-right year was damn well the best football player on the defensive side of the ball in the league. But, I mean, I guess ultimately, if we're just trying to look at it from a Giants perspective, going from Landon Collins to Jabril Peppers, not drastically different. Maybe a little bit more upside in Landon Collins. But ultimately, you get the flexibility of Jabril Peppers on an affordable deal. You get another first-round pick where, hey, use that. You can use that somewhere. And the biggest thing for me is the new staff, the new regime. Pat Shurmur wasn't a good head coach hire. You got Dave Gettleman, who I don't think was a great GM hire, which is both big-time positives for me as a Philadelphia Eagle fan. But those guys aren't going to want the huge contract that the old regime gave Odell Beckham. You see it so many times when front offices change. One of their primary goals is to move old, fat contracts off the books. Guys that weren't their guys, you want to try to get rid of them. So the fact that they were able to do that with Odell, get some pretty good value for him, that's an all right move. Like, that's probably where I know a lot of people with the immediate hot takes are going to be like, oh my God, the Giants are so stupid. When you think about it practically from a roster building standpoint, it's kind of a win, I guess. But, from one standpoint, like, what are you freeing the money up for? You have way worse contracts on that team than what Odell is getting. Eli Manning's contract. You got Nate Solder's contract is hideous. You got, like, Rhett Ellison making, like, $6 million a year. Like, you did all right business getting Olivier Vernon off the books. That's right. But then you still got Kevin Zeitler, who had not a great-looking contract for a guard. He's one of the highest-paid guards in football. So I just feel like from a contract standpoint, if you're trying to look at that as a win, there's still far worse contracts, I think, on that Giants roster than the big deal that Odell Beckham had. And at least Odell Beckham, he has that upside. He has that superstar potential. He has that marketability, which makes the owners more money because he's going to sell more jerseys and sell more memorabilia. You don't really have that anymore. You're not going to get that from Jabril Peppers. You're not going to get that from, might not get that from that first-round pick. You never know. That first-round pick could be an absolute dud. Could be an Eli Apple all over again. Could be an Eric Flowers all over again. You're going to hope not. You're going to hope that that's why you brought in this new regime, so you don't get Eli Apple, so you don't get Eric Flowers. But, you never know. At least you knew Odell was a sure thing. When Odell's on his game, absolutely top 8 wide receiver, maybe even top 5, depending on who you're asking. So I guess now we just kind of think, to leave it with the Giants. What does that mean for the Giants? So they got the draft picks. It's nice. At wide receiver, you got some weapons there. You still got Saquon Barkley, and it became more evident last year that it was becoming Saquon Barkley's team. No more is it Odell and his tantrums on the sideline. It's now, wow, look at what Saquon Barkley is doing behind a not great offensive line. Imagine just the what if the Giants can build a competent offensive line. You got still some weapons. Evan Ingram is a dynamic tight end. Not a complete tight end, not a traditional tight end, but he is still a weapon. Sterling Shepard's a solid slot wide receiver. And then you draft, you can draft one in the first round. You can get a DK Metcalf at 6 if you really want to. Or you could wait a little bit later. Get a N'Keal Harry with that second first. Or look in the second and third round where there's lots of speed that you can look and try to get. In reality, the biggest strength of Odell was those slants. He pretty much ran one route incredibly well. And he had the highlight reel catchability, sure. But his slants, so get someone that can run that slant ability. There's enough speed in this year's draft that you can do that. But I think if we're in the idea that the Giants need to get that new franchise quarterback sooner than later, you definitely want Odell on your team, regardless of the contract. Then you don't want him on the team. So I don't really, from that standpoint, very happy as an Eagle fan. And then you look at the other side of this trade. You look at the Cleveland Browns. There's a changing of the guard right now in the AFC North. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers losing all their star players, and I'm sure, hopefully tonight, we'll be back a little bit later and talking about where Le'Veon Bell is going. But the Steelers are losing all their stars. They still got Juju, but let's be honest, not going to be the same Pittsburgh Steelers team. Got rid of the right tackle in Gilbert. They got rid of Antonio Brown. They got rid of Le'Veon Bell. They're a lot much older on the defense. They still got a lot of question marks all over that roster. It's not a given, where it has been years past, that the Steelers are going to be the favorites. You have the Baltimore Ravens, lots of transition there, especially on the defense. Is Lamar Jackson going to be good? You got the Cincinnati Bengals, lots of questions there. Brand new regime, new head coach. So you look at the Cleveland Browns, they are instantly now the favorites in that division. They're instantly probably going to be vastly overrated, similar to the San Francisco 49ers last season, where there's going to be so many hot takes. Well, the Cleveland Browns are Super Bowl bound, or the Cleveland Browns are going to be like my pick to represent the AFC in the championship game. They'll be one of the two teams there. So I'm not going to go that far with things, but you have to be excited if you are one of those Brown fans that have stuck through the thick and thin. If you're a fair weather Brown fan right now, you're just hopping on the wagon, you're garbage. You're the worst type of fan. But those guys that have been suffering through all the bad years, suffering through what could have been with Josh Gordon and all that stuff, feel like you kind of deserve this one. And the idea of, you got a great running game now. You got maybe Kareem Hunt's gonna ball out for you. If not, you got Nick Chubb. You got Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry's nice, Odell, Joku, one of the better young tight ends. You have a very solid offensive line. Not a great offensive line, but a solid offensive line. You got a superstar on the defensive side of the ball in Myles Garrett. You have a, linebacker. Schobert has played some Pro Bowl quality football. Secondary, you got Denzel Ward, might be a new superstar. You have a lot of flexibility at safety. I really do think that like a Breon Body Calhoun can step into where Jabril Peppers was, or they have Kendrick, or I feel like there's one more safety that I'm forgetting, but it's not like the loss of Jabril Peppers from a player standpoint is really going to hurt them. And they've been stocking up draft picks so long that even that first and the third is not going to kill the Cleveland Browns to bring in a guy of Odell Beckham's quality. So, hey, huge, massive trade. I'm glad as an Eagle fan that Odell Beckham's out of the division. I think it's just another questionable trade, questionable decision in this new regime, this new era in New York. But I think at the end of the day, I'm probably going to come out and say this is not as bad as a lot of people are going to make it out to be on paper. I think it makes sense for this new regime to get Odell's contract out the books because he's not their guy. And they got pretty good value, all things considered, for a wide receiver that has had some injury problems. He's had some off-the-field locker room stuff around him, and he's getting paid a lot of money. So I think it's not terrible value, but it's good that Odell is out of the NFC East. I will take that all day of the week. Let me know what you guys think about this trade in the comment section below. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.